I think I'm live now. All right, 4 minutes a little bit late. Sorry about that. All right, well, let's see here. Let me get situated. Had a bit of technical difficulties, everybody. I'm gonna pull up the chat right here, and then we'll get going. Oh man, I've had quite the week, which I will tell you guys here in a second. As soon as I get up and running here. Let's see. All right. Okay. All right, we're good. All right, so I have the chat up here on the side. Can everybody hear me okay? I have my microphone just out of frame, just making sure everybody can hear me. All right. And then once I get the okay from you guys that I'm audible and everybody can hear me and it's coming in clear through here, that we can get started. All right. Tyler, what's up, man? Eduardo, yes. So okay, I can hear you. Cool. All right, awesome. What is going on, everybody? Tonight is a very exciting show. I've been wanting to plan this one for a while. Yes, I am going to be holding this as a prop today because I love this guy, and we're not going to be talking about the bad guys in this video, but or in this live stream, excuse me. But this week, man, this week has been crazy. A lot of good and a lot of bad. We'll start with the bad and then we'll end on a good note. And then we'll get right into the topic of this live stream, my top 20 favorite bands. It won't take too long. I won't spend a lot of time on every band. Just give you guys a little bit of insight on like my influences. And it's always fun to talk about our favorite bands. And you guys can certainly chime in and contribute to the live stream. All right. Love the premiere. Yeah, yes. We'll talk about that in a second. I got a lot of housekeeping things to talk about real quick, and then we'll get to the list. So the bad week, man. So long story short, my computer crashed, and I didn't lose anything per se. I lost a couple songs here and there. Ones I didn't really like. I could always recreate songs, but I lost every single plugin and application. So I lost Logic, I lost Google Chrome, I lost every single virtual mix, every Slate plugin, every STL tonality plugin, every Neural DSP plugin, every Joey Sturgis bus glue plugin, all my limiters, compressors. Literally, I got a brand new computer, so to speak. It's the same computer, but I literally got everything wiped clean. My account got some sort of like bug or something, but luckily everything's backed up. It was just a matter of going through my emails, finding the downloader and installer, activating my license, and then re-downloading literally everything. And everything didn't take too long, but the one that took the longest was Superior Drummer 3. That took like 36 hours to get all my drum samples and groove packs down. And that was really, really a bummer on my workflow for the week. But luckily I had things pre-planned, like the premiere that just happened an hour ago. And all I had to do was an unboxing for something that's coming up this coming week. So like it didn't really hinder my workflow, but it certainly, I always excuse me, I always try to like plan things out 2-3 days in advance. So that was a huge buzzkill. But the week ended on a rather good note. Right here is probably the best part of the week. Right here, getting to do my live stream, hanging out with you guys. But I won't spoil anything, and I certainly won't say anything out loud, because the worst thing to do is to say something and announce it and then it fall through, because you jinx yourself. It's like bad karma. I'm a total believer in that. But I will say, man, I had a nice conversation. I think it was Tuesday or Thursday night, one of the two, with somebody in the industry, in the guitar industry, in the metal industry. And we're talking about doing some things, and I'll leave it at that. Like I said, I don't want to announce it because nothing's set in stone. Life happens. People have change of heart, but I want to talk about it, but I can't. I'm not going to. Just take it one day at a time. But just the fact that it's potentially happening, I am extremely grateful, humbled, excited, and just it makes me hungrier than ever before to keep doing what I'm doing, to push myself, my brand, my channel, and continue to make myself better in the event that this vague thing that I'm talking about does happen. So I'll leave it at that. And there's things in the works. and we will leave it at that. Okay. I won't, there's no speculations going on. I'm not going to give any hints. Like I said, last thing I want to do is announce it and then it fall through and then I just look stupid. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. Take it one day at a time. And when things do unfold and I'm able to talk about it, I will share that with you guys. All right. Now the premiere, yes, the premiere, my little EP, my tribute to my favorite band of all time, Slipknot. I just released that an hour ago, and thank you guys so much for tuning into that and listening. I really do sincerely appreciate that. And I don't really like to brag about myself at all, but I do. I wouldn't say I'm the best Slipknot musician, cover musician. You know what I mean? Like, but I will say like my covers are very detailed, and I try to get the little minute stuff that people don't notice. Like for one, like the scratching and All Out Life. I do that with my mouth. I beatbox into a microphone, and like I don't have DJ equipment here. You know what I mean? I don't have samples. Like I created that on my own to make it work. Long story short, I really pay attention to the details of those songs, and I really try my best to emulate the original and make it sound as close and as accurate as possible. So the fact that you guys, those of you who tuned in, and those of you who have yet to tune in, it's on my channel. And if you ever want to check it out, thank you in advance. And it is available on all streaming services. Luna Muerta, my band, my solo project, has done very, very well on Spotify this week. The EP was released this past Monday on all streaming services, and Luna Muerta on Spotify has done astronomically great because of that. And it's exciting, man. It's exciting for people, to like what I'm doing, and it's inspiring me to not do as much instrumental stuff. Instrumental's fun, but I guess I'm solid at screaming, and people seem to like my scream. So I'm really gonna like challenge myself and write music that is more suitable for vocals. And I'm gonna go for it, man. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for checking that out. It was fun talking to you guys, telling you a little bit behind the scenes of the songs, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did too. All right, now all the house cleaning's done. I'm gonna turn it to the chat real quick to say hi to some people, and then we'll get into my top 20 favorite bands of all time. All right. Number one, Slipknot. Nah, I don't know about that. We stick around to the end of this video. All right, I'm scrolling back up. I'm checking everybody out here. Death by Poisoning. What's up, dude? Cough should be tapes. Mike, Brandon. What's up, guys? Does Ray enjoy Kane Hill? I don't know what that is. The only Kane I know is Kane Hodder, the guy who plays Jason in Friday the 13th, and Kane the wrestler. So I'll have to look into that. Do you buy CDs, cassettes, vinyl, or digital? Whenever I can buy CDs. CDs all day. I like physical, tangible, hard copy stuff. I don't like downloads at all. Performance on Jimmy Kimmel, yeah. That Dean would look better in your hands. I might switch up halfway through. Check out It Follows by Kane. All right, I will, man. All right, guys. So thank you guys for all tuning in. I really appreciate it. Let's get into the list. All right. I've got my handy dandy Let's Hang notepad that has made an appearance on one of my streams a couple months ago, I would say, but it's back. It's very, very professional. Actually, this is where, if you look at my notes here, my gear through the years, Kirk Hammett. This is what I was doing my notes on as I was making that video. So yeah, this thing gets some use. All right. So I have 5 honorable mentions. As I was making this list, I was like looking like when I was going to get to 20. And then when I got to 20, I was just like, dude, I have so many more bands I want to put on here. And rather than changing the title of the top 25, I've created 5 honorable mentions in no particular order, and then 20 to 1. All right. So in no particular order, my top 5 honorable mentions: Alice in Chains, my favorite grunge band, the heaviest grunge band, the best grunge band in my opinion. Sevendust, an extremely underrated new metal band. Northlane, one of the newer bands on this list. I love Northlane. They're very, very cool for like doing like 7-string gent ambient stuff. It's something I really, really love. Korn didn't make the top 20. I'm like a greatest hits Korn fan. You know what I mean? Like I know all the hits, but like I'm not really too well knowledgeable. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know all the the like deep tracks. You know what I mean? I know a couple here and there, but I wouldn't consider myself a hardcore Korn fan. I appreciate them and what they did for new metal, but just not like a diehard fan. I like all their hits. You know what I mean? And lastly, I hate to say it, but Pantera is an honorable mention. Again, kind of like Korn. I know all the hits. I know a couple deep tracks, but like I like them solely for Dime, but I don't really like the songs too much. You know what I mean? Like I just like I like them, but I'm not like obsessed with them, if that makes any sense. I appreciate them. Love I with the exception of like Floods and maybe Drag the Waters. Um all the other songs are like I appreciate, but those are like some of the two I actually like. And Hollow, I guess, would be another one. But yeah, just an honorable mention. All right. I hope you guys didn't unsubscribe and, and didn't click off this video because of those honorable mentions. Let's get into the top 20. All right. So number 20 is Bon Jovi. I know it's weird. It's weird, but just listen to me. Bon Jovi at one point in time was actually a pretty awesome hard rock band, like mid 80s and early 90s. And a lot of my list is based on nostalgia. And in 92, Bon Jovi did a performance called An Evening with Bon Jovi. It's on YouTube, but my dad had the cassette, the VHS cassette, the tape. And we would watch that on repeat from that time I was like 8 through like maybe 14. That was just like all we did. Like whenever like we would just be like hanging out in the house, like we'd throw it on and it would just be on all the time. And actually, Richie Zambora had a signature Strat back then with a Floyd Rose. And that Strat, he had a couple of them in the video if you want to check it out. An Evening with Bon Jovi, but he has a couple of them. And that guitar made me infatuated with the Strat, and that's what really got me into the Strat. It's him and one other person before Jim Root. That was before Jim Root was even a thing. But yeah, Richie Zambora, really underrated guitar player, and so I had to put Bon Jovi on this list. Al, what's up, man? Yeah, honorable mention. What? Oh my God, Bon Jovi over Pantera. I know, man. I know. I know. I when I was making this list, I was like, dude, people are gonna be like, what's your problem? I know, but I have to be honest with myself. I have to. I know. It's I know. Oh well, what are you gonna do? All right, 19. This will be a nice change of pace. Thy Art Is Murder. Going from Bon Jovi to Thy Art Is Murder. Yes. Thy Art Is Murder is my favorite deathcore band. They're like the most consistent band in that genre, in my opinion. I mean, they're like they sound the most like themselves all the time. And that's hard to find in my list and in music in general. It's always like they always have, like, all bands have like a brand new sound. The Art Is Murder, for the most part, has stayed pretty solid and pretty true to their roots and their original sound. And that's admirable, and it's rare. It's rare in music, and they're just sick, man. They have some of the best breakdowns, some of the best drum sounds and vocal sounds. I love The Art Is Murder, man. I think if I had to pick a favorite song, Reign of Darkness probably, but Holy War, a damn close second, man. I love Holy War, and then Puppet Master that came out 2 years ago. That's sick. Make America Hate Again. That was solid. It'll grow on me, but Puppet Master, man. Puppet Master was sick when it came out in 2017. All right, another change of pace. Number 18 is Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. One of the other people that infatuated me with the Stratocaster back when I was a kid, man. If you guys haven't seen it, Stevie Ray Vaughan live at El Macumbo in like '83. It's on YouTube now. I mean, you could just put that on. It's like an hour-long concert, and like literally just like with your jaw on the floor, man. Like he doesn't run out of ideas. He's just like in it all the time. He doesn't even really need a band, but yeah, just the way he just manipulated the Strat, and he made it sound heavy for blues, which is really hard to do when you think about it. He played like a Fender combo amp with a tube screamer and made it sound heavy and a half step down single coils. You know what I mean? Like, and he riffs, and like Texas Flood, forget it, dude. Voodoo Child, better than the original in my opinion. Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan, he's probably one of, if not the only, like, solo artist. I mean, he has a band, but technically he is a solo artist that I really like. Like, I'm not really into like solo artists too much. I like bands more than solo artists, with a few exceptions here and there. But Stevie Ray Vaughan, dude, like, he just blows the doors off of anybody and everybody, in my opinion. Like top five easily guitar players of all time, in my opinion. And yeah, he's a huge influence on me, and he got me obsessed with the Strat along with Richie Sambora. SRV gone too soon. Yeah, dude, seriously. Meshuggah, Lamb of God, Reign of Darkness is a slide. Hey, what's up, Edwin? New Jersey Ray. Hey, real quick, I know I'm getting shit for Bon Jovi. My father and my mother are both from New Jersey, and I think that has to deal with, you know, my I guess my appreciation. I wouldn't say love, my appreciation for Bon Jovi. I grew up on it, man. Like Springsteen, Bon Jovi, the Jersey Boys. I grew up in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, but they're Jersey people at heart, and that's just what I grew up on. So it stayed New Jersey. That's funny. All right, number 17 is Aerosmith. Aerosmith. Aerosmith is the first band I ever saw. Well, technically the third, but it was Saliva Kiss Aerosmith. That was my first concert. I was 11 years old, August 23rd, 2003. So if you do the math at home, I am 51 years old today. So it was a long, long time ago. And it was like the first time I ever saw like any band live, but man, just like what a concert. And I loved Aerosmith as a kid, but just after seeing that, man, it's just like these guys are rock stars. Like, say what you want if you don't like Aerosmith or not. You can't deny that like Steven Tyler is a rock star. Joe Perry's a rock star. Brad Whitford's a rock star. You know what I mean? Like they're living legends. Like if there's a Mount Rushmore of rock and roll icons, you best believe Steven Tyler's face is probably up there. You know what I mean? Along with some others that may or may not be on this list. So Aerosmith, not heavy, just down and dirty rock and roll, American rock and roll, and I love it, man. I even like their slow stuff, like their '90s hits. You know what I mean? Like Crying and Crazy. Trying to think of some other ones. What It Takes. I mean, they're classics, man. I don't always have to be in drop Z just slamming at all times. You know what I mean? I appreciate some ballads from time to time, and I think it's a nice balance. You can't just be on 100% at all times, and you'll burn out. So, Aerosmith is certainly one of those bands. Although it's the first band I ever saw, they have transcended into my young adult life and mid adult life, soon to be mid adult life. You know what I mean? So like I appreciate them. I really really appreciate them. More nostalgia. There's a million classic songs. You can't deny Aerosmith are living legends. So that's why they're on this list. Turn to the chat real quick. See if how many people are saying that Bon Jovi sucks or something. I'm still confused on your age, my dude. Dude, 2003. I was 11. Today I'm 51. It makes sense. You know what I mean? I just love throwing that in there because people are just always like, I'm not 51. I'm 57. Come on. Any New York hardcore bands? NYHC, New York Hardcore? Is that what that stands for? Jersey hate Bon Jovi. I changed Pantera with Aerosmith. Honestly, with these honorable mentions, man, you could literally like mix and match, except for like my top 5, maybe you could mix and match them all, and they'd all like. It's just like I made this today, and I spent like a decent amount of time on it, but like I could change it at any moment. You know what I mean? So this is just what it is right now. All right, number 16. Number 16 is an asterisk because it is Volumes with an asterisk. I don't like anything other than their first EP, their first full length, and their second full length. Actually I wouldn't even call the first EP because I can't even remember what the name of it is. But Via and No Sleep, 2011, 2014 releases with Michael Barr, their old original vocalist. That was like, when that came out in 2011, that was like my introduction to djent and like 7-string tight articulate stuff. That along with Periphery. But I think Volumes is certainly heavier than Periphery, and so I think a little more technical and a little more dreamy and trippy, especially in Via. And yeah, it helped me through some times and being a young adult and teenager. And it's a lot of good memories with Volumes, man. And like Wormholes is forever sick. Intake has a lot more meaning now. If you know the story behind that song, if you're familiar with it, it it means a lot to me nowadays. And yeah, sucks. But yeah, I don't like their new singer and their new direction. It went to kind of like hip hop type of style now. I don't know. I like the more. I love like trippy ambient gent, man. That's like a lot of the stuff I personally like to create, and Volumes nails it in those first two albums. So Volumes number 16. Saw Volumes last year. Oh, very cool, man. Ray, age 57, 11, 2003. Thanks, Sergio, for clearing that up. I'm glad we can move past this and stay on topic on my favorite bands. Thank you. I saw Volumes in 2014 at Warped Tour, actually. And now that I'm thinking about this, there's a couple other bands I'd throw in honorable mentions, but I mean, I could have 50 honorable mentions at this point. You know what I mean? All right, number 15. This is probably the most underrated band in metal right now, and the most underrated band on my list, certainly, and that is Ginger. Now, if you guys don't know who Ginger is, it's Jinjer. Female-led metalcore gent style kind of band. They sound like Ginger, you know what I mean? They don't really sound like anybody else. Tatiana is an absolute monster on vocals. She is probably one of the best metal vocalists in general, male or female, and she is so sick. And then she can sing beautifully too. And her stage presence is amazing. She kills it. And then she's backed by three amazing musicians, amazing bass player, guitar player, and drummer. Ginger, yeah, guys. I sound like such a hipster right now, but I've been with Ginger since like 2014, 2015, and yeah, I found them in a magazine. I can't Revolver magazine. Is that even a thing anymore? I don't even know. But yeah, when I found them in Revolver, when I had a subscription back in the day, I found Ginger, and yeah, man. Now they're like finally blowing up. And like I said, I sound like a hipster. Like, I've known them forever, but I'm really stoked and really happy for them. So if you guys have not heard Ginger, check it out, man. Like, it'll blow your mind. Tatiana is so sick, an amazing, talented vocalist, and amazing songs. So you guys will not be disappointed. Ginger, number 15. One of my top favorite bands of all time, and then every time I show people them, they love them. Yeah, Alex, very very cool, man. Ginger, hell yeah. Hot Af too. Oh, come on now. We're staying solely on the musicianship and the you know. Anyway, number 14, moving on. Number 14 is Godsmack. Now, this is kind of like Volumes and Asterisks. I mean, they're self-titled, Awake, Faceless, and that's pretty much like where it leaves off for me. Like from there on out, kind of became more commercially acceptable, and that's fine. But like you can't deny, especially Faceless and the self-titled, the first and the third releases, like they're classics. You know what I mean? They're not really new metal, although they came up in that era. They're sick, man. Just like Moon Baby is probably my favorite song off self-titled. Obviously Awake from the album Awake, and that's the name of it. Yeah, that's the name of it. And then Trippin' from Awake is sick. But yeah, Spiral from Awake is really really cool. Running Blind is really really cool. There's a lot of great cuts, deep cuts on those albums, and of course they have the huge songs like Straight Outta Line, I Stand Alone, Realign, stuff like that, and Whatever, Keep Away. But yeah, they have a lot of really good songs, underrated songs in my opinion, that a lot of people don't know about, and I think their underrated songs are much better in terms of musicianship than their hits. Like Bad Religion is just a drop D, and it's just like bap 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 bap. Or I Stand Alone is wait. Like it's very boring. But like their acoustic stuff, like even Serenity, although it's popular, it's much more musically inclined than some of the other stuff. So I love Godsmack, man. I grew up with him. I grew up in the new metal era, and we'll start to see a pattern here. But yeah, I really do appreciate Godsmack. And like I said, although like their latest albums are much more like Shine Down, like rock and roll, Nickelback, hard rock, um, that's fine. I appreciate them, but I love the little bit more of a heavier side of Godsmack. Turn to the chat real quick. Yeah, they're still a mainstay in my local karaoke car. They're my go-to Volbeat. Everything is singing other. Yeah, I got Gojira and Slipknot coming August 14th. Very cool, man. I'm seeing them the 31st. That's the Knotfest Roadshow, right? I think I'm seeing Gojira. I don't even know who I'm seeing besides Slipknot. I think Volbeat. I don't like Volbeat at all. Um, Behemoth and I think Gojira. So that'd be cool. But yeah, I really don't. I'm really going to see Slipknot. I'll be honest, but it'll be fun. Meshuggah better be on this list. Who's Meshuggah? What's a Meshuggah? It's a weird. It's a weird statement there. Behemoth is amazing. Yeah, Behemoth is solid, man. I appreciate one of those bands like I appreciate, but like don't really like that much. I don't know. All right, 13 is The Clash. The Clash, a very obscure pick in my opinion on this list. The Clash was my dad's favorite band. I think is was his favorite band. I mean, he's kind of like me, where he had like 10 favorite bands, but he loved The Clash. Grew up on it. All their hits, man. Like London Calling, Tommy Gun, Rudy Can't Fail, Lost in the Supermarket. Should I Stay or Should I Go? Although I don't like that song, I mean, it's a classic. Guns of Brixton, like the album London Calling is really, really good. And even like some of their new stuff, like This Is England, solid, and Go Straight to Hell. I love the Clash, man. And although they're a punk band, I really don't consider them a punk band. They're more of like an '80s new wave band. And like I said before, man, it's nice to have a nice variety and nice, well-rounded balance of stuff you're into, in my opinion. And I was very fortunate to grow up with some pretty cool stuff in my household. And the Clash was one of them, man. Like my dad's musical taste did not suck, and I'm very lucky that he played some really really good shit in my day. And yeah, thankful for it. So the Clash, they're old school. They're not really heavy or like you know they're punk rock. You know what I mean? And yeah, I really don't like rocking the Casbah too much, or like I said, Should I Stay or Should I Go? But I love the songs that not a lot of people know. This is Radio Clash is really really good. So I love the Clash. I used to have a poster, an original German poster in the studio. It's in the next room now. That was my father's, and yeah, so a lot of nostalgic memories again with the Clash, with all my music, pretty much. You know what I mean? So they had to be on this list. I grew up with them. I love the Clash. Number 13. All right, you guys ready to? You guys, you ready to laugh and agree with me, and not really agree with me, and not admit that this band is on your list? If you would like to guess, I will give you a second. It's a band that it's an extreme guilty pleasure. They're heavy. They're awesome. I think very underrated, very hated, but everybody loves them all at the same time. And I don't want to give it away. I would love to see if you guys could guess it real quick. 90s band. 90s, early 2000s. Come on. Not sure. Okay. Careful holding Gibson, you might get sued. The Clash. Okay, your dad liked them. BTO. No. All right. Limp Bizkit. Come on, man. Limp Bizkit, number 12, man. Def Nickelback, Nirvana, Nickelback. No, no, no. No, not Nickelback. No, no, come on. I'm ashamed and embarrassed and mad all at the same time that you guys think I would even consider putting Nickelback on this band or on this list. Faith No More, that's actually a pretty solid pick. Limp Bizkit, man. Limp Bizkit. I love Limp Bizkit. Number 12, Limp Bizkit. I said it before. Wes Borland, one of top 10 most underrated guitar players of all time. He's not a shredder, but he's extremely creative, and that's really hard to do, especially in the new metal side of things. Everybody was just drop tuning 7 strings and chugging along with some eerie major seventh intervals in between. And Wes Borland was doing some different stuff. Not only was he visually very very cool and inspiring, like you know, being a kid, being 7, 8 years old, man, watching him on MTV when MTV was still a thing, just being a kid, man, be like, whoa, look at this dude, man. Like, what is that? Before I even knew anything about contacts or even the painting, it's like his presence was amazing. And then he could play, man. He could play awesome riffs and use really unique sounds, kind of like Tom Morello type of deal, where like he would just make new sounds out of the instrument, not do the same old song and dance. And I love that about Wes Borland. But even like John Otto is a solid drummer. Philip Rivers is a really, really good bass player. I mean, I don't really care for DJ Lethal. I'll be honest, I don't know too much about what makes a good DJ. So, take that with a grain of salt. But I think Fred Durst is a solid lyricist. I mean, yeah, he's like he always wanted to be a rapper. And he could scream a little bit, you know what I mean? Like his screams didn't suck, you know, he could hold it down. And it's just like, I think I think he just got like lumped into the whole, it started with like the Woodstock thing, and then it just kind of became a meme, you know what I mean? And I don't really want to know all the details, I guess. I've heard and read and saw that, he was kind of like not the best person in the world, and it was kind of, a douche. And could certainly see that, but like it's confusing because there's so many other musicians that were far worse than him. You know what I mean? Like Axl Rose, people love Guns N' Roses, but Axl Rose was terrible. There's a lot of other ones which I don't have to go into. But yeah, man, I love like Significant Other, and Significant Other was great, but Chocolate Starfish was like next level, man. Like I don't care, what you say. Like I think it still holds the record for fastest rock album to sell 1 million albums. They sold 1 million albums in the first week. Like went platinum in 7 days. Like that's crazy. I think I beat out Pearl Jam's 10, if I have my facts correct. And I don't think anybody's beat that yet. Like, Significant Other, like Just Like This and Nookie and Break Stuff, dude. But even like the deep tracks that people don't know about that are extremely overrated or underrated, excuse me. Like Rearrange. Rearrange is amazing, man. It's like that song has substance and meaning. Don't Go Off Wandering is another one, man. It's just like it's really, really a really pretty sounding song at the source when you think about it. And then Chocolate Starfish, the underrated stuff like The One, Boiler is so good in my opinion. Hold On, Hold On. Do you guys ever hear Hold On by Limp Bizkit on Chocolate Starfish? Like so good, man. It has substance and it has meaning and depth. Um, It'll Be Okay even is like heavy, but it still has, a thing that you can latch onto. It's not just like, yeah, come on, I did it all for the Nook. You know what I mean? It's like it's not goofy. And but yeah, like songs like Nookie like kind of like overshadow the band, and then it becomes kind of a meme. But even like the hits, like My Generation, the riff in My Generation is so sick. Like so sick, dude. And yeah, I grew up on it, man. I grew up on Chocolate Starfish, hot dog flavor water. I begged my mom to buy it for me, and God bless her, she bought it for me. And I had it as like a 9 or 10-year-old in my CD player, and I wore it out, man. I wore it out, and I love. To this day, it's one of my favorite albums of all time. I did a video back last year or earlier this year, top 10 favorite albums or top 20 favorite albums, and that Chocolate Starfish is up there, man. Like it is up there. I love that album, and again, just the songs that have meaning in Limp Bizkit are so good, and they're so overshadowed by the goofiness and the cheesiness. But it is what it is. I spent way too much time talking about Limp. They're on number 12 on my list, and I'm going to see what you guys have to say. I want to challenge you to do a West Tone with Sims. That's actually a really good idea. To caveat for that, I've actually looked into getting the original gear from Slipknot, their self-titled stuff like the Mesa Boogie Power amp and the Piranha preamp and the DC-10. Like I'm working on that shit, man. I'm trying to get that in the studio, and to not to one up you, right, but to try to bounce another idea off you. What if I got the original stuff that Wes used? I knew he used like a dual rectifier back in the day. I have a dual rectifier right here. You know what I mean? Like I think I could really get onto something there. So that's a really good idea. I should really try to do some more tone matching stuff. So thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Meshuggah is the father. Meshuggah are the fathers of 8 and 9 string guitars. I don't think Meshuggah's ever played a 9 string, have they? Unless you're saying like they started the down tune trend. Was in middle school, got in trouble for having the Iowa booklet in class. Hell yeah. Promoting Satanism. Oh my god, that's funny. All right. Okay. Number 11. Now this band would be higher up, but you guys will know why they're not higher up as soon as I say it. Number 11 is Tool. Tool is one of the few bands, if not the only band in my personal opinion, that has never put out a bad song. Now, yeah, they have like a lot of like soundscapey songs, and they're not really songs, they're just collection of sounds. but like their actual full length songs are so good and they're masterpieces and everything they do is a masterpiece. And because of that, now that we have waited 13 years plus, I mean, who knows if it'll even come out this year? It says August what 31st. Who knows, dude? You know what I mean? Like we'll see. I'll believe that when a week goes by after the release date and it's still around. You know what I mean? Like yeah, we'll see. But Tool, they're amazing, man. They're amazing, and you know I love the full length epic songs that they have. Um, you know, it's just like I love Lateralis and 10,000 Days and uh Anima, or you know, people call it Enema, which isn't right. Anima. Um, yeah, man, like just trying to think off the top of my head, like their second release is probably my favorite. Like songs, just deep cuts like Push It and trying to think of another one. Eulogy is another really, really good one. Um, but then even like with Lateralis, like Schism's an epic song, is good every time you listen to it. Trying to think of another one. Parabola and Parable and Parabola, forget about it. You know what I mean? Like those songs you literally never get sick of, and they sound amazing every time. They're one of the few bands that like when you listen to their epic songs, like you find something new that you didn't hear the first time. It's not the same old song and dance every time, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you know, with Tool, it's just like there's always like layers. You're always like you're always discovering and rediscovering things you forgot about or haven't heard yet, and that's really hard to do. But my favorite song, Vicarious, hands down. Like that song has a breakdown. You know what I mean? Like it's really really cool. But they're not higher on this list because we've had to wait 13 years. Last one that came out, I was not even in high school yet. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. But like I mean, I even got the symbol, the logo from 10,000 Days on my arm. I love Tool, and Tool's actually one of the few bands that in the world that doesn't have haters. I'm sure there are, but you know what I mean? Like Slipknot, Deftones, Lamb of God, Metallica, Slayer, they all have haters. Tool doesn't have any haters, in my opinion, that I've seen. Most people love Tool or respect them. They're one of the few bands in the world in rock and roll and metal, whatever you want to call it, that don't have any haters. In my that I've seen again. So they're a very rare, very obscure band, you know, but I love Tool, and most people do. You know what I mean? I'm not like going out on a limb here. A lot of people love Tool. 10,000 Days, a producer filled the room with helium to make the cymbal sound different. That's how dedicated they are to their art. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, just like all kinds of crazy. Like, I mean, I can't be mad at them for taking. I mean, who am I? You know, who am I? But I can't be mad at them for taking 13 years. You know, they're artists at the end of the day. You know what I mean? They're not, you know, they're not businessmen. They're artists, and you know, the album's done when the album's done, and it sucks, but I'm anticipating it, and I can't wait. And I think I won't be disappointed. I think Tool's like a different kind of band where like you can't be disappointed in what they create because of just the nature of the dynamic of the songs and the band. You know what I mean? It's weird. Like a lot of bands, you get disappointed or get hyped up, and like you get let down. Like with Tool, I'm gonna like it no matter what. And it's just it's really unique art, and it's really good. I love it. All right, top 10 guys. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of this list or halfway point and sticking around with me thus far. Let's get to the top 10. All right, top 10 is gonna be fun. You guys know what a lot of these are, and let's dive right in. Okay, number 10, August Burns Red. Pennsylvania boys. I got to give some love for Pennsylvania. Out in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, out in Amish country. These dudes, they are one of the few bands again on this list that has stayed true to their sound, kind of like Die Hard is Murder, in my opinion. Like August Burns Red has never like done anything way out of left field, has never sold out, has never done anything commercially acceptable. You know what I mean? Like they're always been just heavy metalcore. In 2019, they're still doing metalcore. And that's hard to do, man. Metalcore is kind of not really a thing anymore. Like bands like Asking Alexandria, Bring Me the Horizon, you know, they're not doing metalcore anymore. Parkway Drive is not doing metalcore. So it's really, really interesting. And They're like one of the bands that like I was at one point in time was like literally obsessed with, knew every song, knew how to play every song, within reason. Um, that I could remember off the top of my head. You know what I mean? Like there's only so many songs you can remember, but like I knew everything about this band and all their gear and just everything about them. And yeah, I love August Burns Red. Like I said, they're one of the few bands, in my opinion, that has stayed true to their sound through and through since 2005. Off of their out since their first debut release of Thrill Seeker, and they're one of the few bands that like continues to make awesome breakdowns that don't sound the same. And again, it's hard to do. It's mathematically you're gonna run out of ideas for syncopated, chugs and double hits on your kick. You know what I mean? So it's really really cool that they're still going strong, and they're from my home state, not too far from here, about an hour and a half, give or take. I love August Burns Red. They're always killing it. They're always good live. They're always really good people. No drama. Same dudes, same original lineup, and that's again hard to come by. And I love them. But I love New Bring Me the Horizon. Hey, if you do, that's fine. ABR's in my backyard. They still got it. Hell yeah, dude. I forgot about Parkway Drive. Ah. What do you think of Mariana's Trench by August Burns Red? Very, very cool song. Very unique song. That crazy ambient clean stuff into the full on metalcore song, and then the breakdown riff the whole way throughout the outro. It's amazing. Amazing song. I love it. Forgot about that song, honestly. All right. Number 9, funny enough, is Parkway Drive. Now this band has an asterisk because realistically, the first 2 albums are the only ones that I love. And then the third and the fourth one, Deep Blue and Atlas, are solid. And then Ire was kind of bad. And then I didn't even listen to their latest one. I heard one song and I was just like, oh, that's what we're doing nowadays. They're almost like bring me the horizon nowadays, where it's like rock and roll kind of. And yeah, but like Killing with a Smile and Horizons, dude, forget about it. Like so so amazing. That was my first introduction to drop B, in that album. Those albums, Killing with a Smile and Horizons, were my first introductions to that tuning, and I like became obsessed with that tuning, and I learned literally every song start to finish on those 2 albums, with the minor exception of a few tuning changes here. Like a couple songs I believe were in A sharp, unless that was Deep Blue. But anyway, like I knew all their songs, start to finish, back and forth, and that those 2 albums made me a better player, and I hold those albums very high in my heart and in my the reason why I play the way I play is Drop B is my favorite, not because of Slipknot, because of Parkway Drive. Very technical, fast, challenging, big stretches, a lot of hammer on pull offs, awesome riffs, breakdowns. As a young kid learning how to play guitar, that was like infatuating and a lot of fun to learn. So I hold them in that high regard, but at the same time, they sold out. I'm not a fan of their newer stuff. And I'm okay with that. They made great stuff, in my opinion, and now they have a bigger fan base. They're bigger than they ever were. Just not for me. Wishing Wells was pretty sick. I felt the same way, including the tuning part. Yeah, I heard. I think Wishing Wells was the song, and I was just like, nah, not really into it. Moving on. Number 8, an old school band, Sex Pistols. I love the Sex Pistols, man. The Sex Pistols are amazing. They're heavy metal. Oh, not heavy metal. They're punk icons, but they're rock and roll icons, man. Like one album and done is the biggest like punk thing to do. Like it's almost like they're like a parody of a punk band in a way because of how punk they were. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make any sense, but I know like Never Mind the Bollocks, man. One of the best albums of all time, in my opinion. I know every single song. Grew up with it in my household, being like 7 years old, singing songs like Bodies and Holiday in the Sun and EMI, New York, just like so inappropriate for a young kid. But my father was the man. He had a great music taste, and Never Mind the Bollocks would go in the CD player from time to time when he was feeling good. If Dale Earnhardt Jr. won a race, for example, he would be like, all right, let's celebrate, and put it in, and I would get to listen to it as a kid. And yeah, man, just like such an iconic album. Steve Jones, I mean, not a very good musician, but he used Les Pauls. That's cool. Johnny Rotten, John Lydon, like one of the most iconic frontman of all time. I love the Sex Pistols. Although they only have one album, that album is the biggest middle finger to like the rock and roll industry, to the music industry. It's so cool, so iconic, so much attitude. Man, what more can I say about it? Never mind the Bollocks is sick. So Sex Pistols has to be on this list. Number 8. Hey Eric, what's up, dude? My old band actually reworked Anarchy in the UK into a song about the youth in New Jersey, teenagers in New Jersey. Hell yeah, man. Black Flag or Bad Brains for me. Yeah, I mean it's all that scene and that attitude. There's a lot of bands like, well, several bands like that. But for me, it was Sex Pistols. I want to say they're the originators, in my opinion, of that whole attitude. Terrible musicians, but like it just worked. You know what I mean? So yeah, I love them. Number 7, an asterisk. Again, here's the theme: the old stuff. Linkin Park. The first 2 albums, some of the best rock and roll metal albums of literally of all time. Like they're like Hybrid Theory is up there. Like last time I checked, like maybe a year ago, like it's like up there with like, you know, like Abbey Road and like, well, Thriller's obviously number 1, but like it is like in that category of like Exile on Main Street. You know what I mean? And like Led Zeppelin 2. And it's like Hybrid Theories right in there. It's crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like it is one of the best selling albums of all time. Of all time, not just rock. Like of all time. And when you like, I don't think people realize that or forget. Like all time. Like last time I checked, it was like mid 20s, maybe something like that. 20, 30, 15, maybe even sometimes, or at one point in time. Like it's crazy to think like it's up there with like the Madonnas and the Whitney Houstons and the Stevie Wonders. Like it is so awesome. And I had Hybrid Theory and Meteora. I don't really like Meteora too much, but Hybrid Theory, man, that was one of the first albums that or CDs that I had that I was like, this is mine. Like this is my music. You know what I mean? It wasn't like my dad's Led Zeppelin 2 or like, the Who's Next. You know what I mean? I wasn't. It was like, this is mine. This is my music. This is my generation's music. And like I was like proud of that shit. You know what I mean? Like I would carry it around and I would have it with me. Like this is mine. Like open up the booklet and read all the lyrics and not understand what the hell they were talking about. But like looking at all the pictures and looking at Chester's Flames with his weird piercings. He had piercings here and his bleach blonde hair, and Mike Shinoda's red hair. You know what I mean? Like I remember that shit, man. I remember like just like, wow, this is mine. And I was aware enough, old enough to know like, hey, this is special, man. Like Paper Cut, Crawling, One Step Closer, those songs on the radio, like they're getting played to death. And I knew it was cool and I knew it was going to blow up even as a young kid. And I knew like I was a part of that movement, you know what I mean? And I was only 8 or 9 at the time, but yeah, I just loved it. I love Linkin Park, man. And after what was that, Midnight Sun? What was it? What was the third one called? The White and Black album with Bleed It Out. I don't even know because like I like lost interest immediately. But yeah, number 7, Linkin Park. What do you think of the collab Chester did with Mark Morton, especially that song "Cross Off"? I thought it was good. Um, I didn't really like it that much. It just didn't, because like it sounded like a Lamb of God riff and song with Chester singing over it, which is fine. But I thought it was certainly better than what people made it out to be, just because unfortunately Chester did pass before that song got released. You know what I mean? So like it got like more praise than not that it deserves. I think you guys can understand what I'm saying. Like it was a solid song, but it wasn't great in my opinion. So that's my 2 cents on that. Minutes to Midnight. That's what it is. Midnight Sun. 1,000 Suns or 10,000 Suns. That's the other one, right? The concept album. I don't even remember. Linkin Park is where it was, especially when they included lyrics on the inner sleeve. Yeah, I remember that, man. I remember that. So good. And I remember in Meteor when they had like the spray paint and like, I just remember them pictures of them spray painting everything, like the logo, the Linkin Park logo or something. I don't remember. I just remember looking at it. That's all I remember. All right, moving on. Number 6. We got 6 to go. Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin. Got to put them on this list. My second favorite classic rock band. There's one other one on this list. Spoiler. I mean, what can you say? What more could I say about Led Zeppelin other than they're influencing everybody even to this day. Um, I like their unknown songs more than their popular ones, like Achilles' Last Stand, The Rover, Custard Pie, all Physical Graffiti, really, all the second half of Physical Graffiti, In the Light, 10 Years Gone, like Hots for Nowhere, In the Evening, Nobody's Fault But Mine. Trying to think of some other like rare ones here. Um, Over the Hills and Far Away. It's popular, but I like that song a lot. Trying to think what else. There's another one I'm like missing. Nah, I forget. I think it's off of Presence. It's not Hots for Nowhere. It's the other one. Royal Orleans, I think is that one. That's like got a really cool groove. Um, yeah. I mean, what more could I say? Led Zeppelin, I think is on everybody's list. Just, I mean, I grew up on it. Everybody grew up on it. Classic stuff. You know what I mean? T for One. Yeah, that's a good one. Check out Gent Zeppelin on YouTube. It's sick. Is that with Stevie T? That's a classic video. I've seen that. Heard Custard Pie for the first time today. Such a welcome change from Black Dog. Whole lot of love. Wow, that's ironic. You've heard it first time today. I'm gonna leave you. There you go. That's another one. Babe, I'm gonna leave you. Trying to think of some other ones, man. Now we're on the topic. Like my wheels are spinning. What about Led Zeppelin 3? There's another one. Out on the Tiles is a good one. Yeah. All I need from you is all your love. Like that's so good. Immigrant Song live on How the West Was Won, dude. Blow your head off. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother thing. A whole nother aspect of Led Zeppelin, man. Like I grew up with How the West Was Won, that live DVD and CD that came with it, dude. And my dad, he was the man. He played it to death. We would watch that every single weekend that we were together. Whenever I wasn't at my mom's house, when I go to my dad's house, we would watch some How the West Was Won, and then we would watch a movie. And like I grew up on that shit, man. I love it. I love those memories, man. Like it's the Immigrant Song, the first track on that CD and DVD, dude, blows your head off. If you guys have listened to it, you guys know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, just please listen to it. It is like incredible the sound that they get out of those three gentlemen, dude. It's so sick, man. Jimmy Page inspired guitarists to play better. Exactly, man. Don't forget Misty Mountain Hop. Hell yeah, man. Classic song. Mark, hey, what's up, dude? Almost forgot about the 7K. Thanks for the reminder. I didn't remind. What? Yeah, are you referring to my subscriber count? Because thanks, man, if you are, but I don't know what else you're talking about. Thanks, man. All right, moving on. Top five. Let's get it. Let's get this going. We got top five, and then we'll get out of here. All right, guys. Top five, the ones you've been waiting for. Let's get right into it. Number five, Meshuggah. All right, Meshuggah. This is where Meshuggah is going on this list. You knew it was coming. Godfather's a gent. So sick. Just like Tool, every time you hear one of their songs, something new comes out that you didn't hear before. Probably the hardest rhythm songs to play. Not necessarily in terms of technicality, but in terms of memorization. Like the songs aren't hard to play, but they're hard to memorize, man. It's like Simon Says with the fretboard, man. I swear. Like I'm trying to think of what was the one song I was trying to learn one time, and I was just like, dude, I got things to do. I can't be like the payoff for like learning a Meshuggah song for like 3 months. It was Dancers. Dude, that took forever to get like just the first like opening riff and intro and verse. Like I would spend like 2 weeks on it, and then like I would have another 6 minutes of that song to go. And I'll get it down one day. I know I will, but it's just like it's not hard. It's just hard to remember. And it's very inspiring. And it's just like Meshuggah to me is like Metal Tool. It's like they're almost the same band. Like even everything from like the music videos for the most part to just like how the songs are structured, how they go on forever. There's so many different layers. I love it. Love Meshuggah. Top five. They've made it. That's where they're going on this list. Number four, Lamb of God. Lamb of God, number four. They were at top two at one point in time in my life. You know, I love Sacrament and Resolution. Those albums are amazing. Wrath is solid. Wrath is pretty good. What's the last song off Wrath? Lemon? No, dude. What's the last song on Wrath? Reclamation, I think it's called. The when that song kicks in, it's like boom, ba ba doom, do do do, ba dip. I think it's I just lost the name of the song. I can't even remember. Uh-oh, did I freeze up here? Uh-oh. I got my chat over here and I'm frozen. Oh, what the hell? I'm sorry if I'm still live, but my computer has frozen. I hope to God that my computer didn't freeze. All right, I'm gonna get out of here real quick. Hold on. I'm sorry for the delay, guys. I just don't wanna continue if I'm not frozen, and I can't see you guys chatting to me if I'm in fact not frozen. I think I should be good though. So sorry, guys. Stay tight with me, would you please? Okay, it says I'm live. Okay, so I just reopened everything. It says I'm still live. Yeah, reclamation. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Please type me. I just want to make sure I'm okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. Like, yeah, my browser started doing the spinning wheel of death, and I didn't want to lose you guys. You know what I mean? Okay. Anyway, yeah, reclamation, dude. When that song kicks in at the end or the end of that Wrath, oh, so sick. But then yeah, Resolution, man, dude, that album's probably yeah, that's probably their best album, Resolution. Ghost Walking. Um, what's the other one? What's the hit? Desolation. That's it. Yeah, like there's and King Me. I love King Me so much off of Resolution. Lamb of God. Like I would. This is gonna sound a little egotistical, but just hear me out. I consider myself to be in the style, like my playing, especially my six string playing, to be in the style of like Mark Morton, Willie Adler. Not to say I'm any better than them or I'm as good as them. I'm not comparing myself, but like, I can solo and I can play rhythm, but like I'm not like extremely good at soloing or extremely good at rhythm. Like I'm a very again, sounds just take it with a grain of salt. I'm very well rounded in my opinion. And I look up to Mark Morton and Willie Adler because they're in the same style that I feel like I'm in, where like I can certainly hold it down in a solo. I can play a good solo. I can play fast and technical, but like I gotta have good chops with rhythm. And so they inspire me to do that, both of that. So I love their playing and I try to emulate on the six when I'm doing six string stuff, I try to emulate their style, drop tuning, fast technical stuff, a lot of string skipping. And I really look up to their playing. And yeah, so they make drop T heavy too. That's another thing that's really hard to do. So I love Lamb of God. Number 4, they made it on the list. Burn the Priest. Yeah, I don't like Burn the Priest. I don't like Burn the Priest at all. You guys know what Burn the Priest is. Number 3, I didn't want to put it this high, but I had to solely for the guitar player, Van Halen. All right, Van Halen, and I was almost going to put Eddie Van Halen on this list because he is everything to me. He's what got me into playing. He makes the best amps, in my opinion, for metal. It's kind of ironic. He's a hard rock, classic rock player, but makes the most amazing, in-your-face, brutal, tight, low-end, aggressive, uh, gent metal type of amplifier. It's really weird and ironic, but dude, like Eddie is everything to me. He changed guitar and he inspired literally every single shredder out there. He inspired Steve Vai, he inspired John Petrucci, Joe Satriani, Tosin Abasi. Like whether they admit it or not, or whether they've publicly said it or not, like they inspired everybody. He created a new guitar. He created the super shredder. Now it's not clear whether or not he invented the actual art of tapping, but he made it very, very popular, and everybody had ripped him off all throughout the 80s and early 90s. And then when he started coming out with his own gear, man, like the PV5150, like the PV5150, he created that. Like that amplifier is 27 years old and is still relevant today. Like he created that. He created the 5150, which then created the 6505, which then created the Invective. You see where I'm going at? It also created the 5153 EL34 50 watt head that's also in my studio. Eddie Van Halen as much as of a great musician as he was and is, he's also an incredible gearhead and created gear for metal. And he makes the best amps in my opinion. EVH I think makes the best amps for the price. So, just old school Van Halen too, man. Like, Fair Warning, Van Halen 1, 2, Women and Children First. Like the first four albums are amazing. Mean Streets, Take Your Whiskey Home, all that shit, Unchained. And then I love Sammy Hagar stuff more than David Lee Roth, in my opinion. Just better musicianship. When It's Love, Pound Cake, just like really, really good, really, really good ballads, really good songs. Humans Beings, another one. Right now, I love Sammy Hagar with Van Halen more than David Lee Roth, but I love Eddie's playing when he's with David Lee Roth than when Sammy Hagar was in the band. So Eddie is everything to me, my favorite guitar player of all time. I had to put Van Halen on this list, number 3. Top 2. Now you guys probably know what my number 1 is. Obviously it's going to be Nickelback. So we have to get to number 2. And then there's a couple choices out there for you guys to pick. But number 2 is Deftones, man. I love the Tones. I love everything about them. Very ambient, 7-string, 8-string stuff. Not very technical, but just vibes, man. So vibey. Just like so trippy. Like, you want to hear a funny story? I tell this story a lot. When I first went into basic training in Oklahoma, we had actually it's called AIT, which I think stands for Advanced Individual Training, which is after basic training. I was in Oklahoma, and we had like guard shifts and rotations and things to do every single night. And I can vividly remember this. It was about 3 a.m. and it was my turn to mop the floors, the whole hall. It was like a quarter-mile long hallway. And this was in basic training. This was like a school. So now we were allowed to like have our music and our headphones and shit. So it's 3 a.m. and I remember putting on Rosemary by Deftones. And like, I don't know, man, it just like was like this really, really calming, trippy, nostalgic just vibe of like I'm a million miles away from home with a bunch of strangers at 3 o'clock in the morning by myself in this weird old rinky dink Oklahoma room, barracks room. What am I getting myself into? What's going to happen to me? And it's just like I can remember that, and I was just like, dude, this is like the coolest thing right now. I'm totally by my because in the army, especially in the early first couple months, you're somebody always screaming in your face, or you're with a bunch of people. You can never have any. There's no such thing as me time or alone time, but like that moment in time, I had me time, and like I wanted nothing more than just to do that for the rest of the night. And it's just like it's a really kind of silly story, but like I remember listening to Rosemary and Cherry Waves, and man, it's just like it just like takes you places, you know what I mean? It's just like I hold that memory so high. It's one of my favorite memories in the army, if I'm being completely honest. From all the shooting stuff and the fun, infantry style stuff that I did being an infantryman. They're just mopping the floors in the middle of the night in some random old ass building in the middle of Oklahoma, listening in Deftones. Like it was like really, really enjoyable. I loved it. And I can like put myself back in that moment. And that's what Deftones does to me. Like they have some heavy stuff, like, some of the older stuff especially is heavy, but I love the ambient stuff, like the Tool style, if you will. And just that memory is so good. But my favorite song by them is You've Seen the Butcher. I love one of the sexiest songs I've ever heard in my life, man. That and Sex Tape. I'm actually thinking about making Sex Tape my first dance with my fiance when we get married in April. I'm thinking that's probably what it'll be. It's like in the running. I don't know what else would be it, but yeah, I love their soft songs more than their heavy stuff. And yeah, I love the Tones, man. 100% I love them. But my number 1, you guys know what it is. It's not Nickelback. Come on now. It's not. Slipknot, my favorite band of all time. Just I've been obsessed with them ever since I first heard them. I was terrified when I first heard them, but I couldn't look away. It was like a car crash. First time I heard People Equal Shit, I literally freaked out. I literally put it on my iPod, went outside in my front lawn of my mother's house, and started headbanging violently as cars were driving by because I didn't care. I was like infatuated by the band and by the song. It's my favorite song by them, forever will be, most likely. Yeah, like that band means everything to me. Helped me through the times when I was like in high school, you know, getting picked on by a bunch of assholes now that are pumping gas, and inspired me to go to the gym and put on weight, and then the bullies would go away, and like I lived through all that, man. This is me being real with you. You know what I mean? Like this is not a front. I'm like laying it all out there for me. Like they mean everything to me. And a lot of people have gone through similar situations and had the same, you know, hold a certain band in that regard. And Slipknot is that band for me, man. Like they're everything to me. And I'm an adult. I have the means to buy cool guitars and stuff and play cool guitars and create my own stuff for you guys and for people all over the world. And I want to use Jim Root's signature stuff because yeah, it sounds good, it plays good, but it's still all that Slipknot thing, man. Like I'm playing a part of that. You know, it's become a part of me now, and it's kind of silly, kind of hippie-ish if you think about it, but it's true, man. And I can't deny it. That's how I feel about that band. They're literally everything to me, and I'm seeing them again for the third time in August. I saw them on the All Hope Is Gone tour in 2009, February 7th, 2009. August 12th, 2012, when Joey was actually still in the band. And now I'm seeing again August 31st, 2019 in Camden, New Jersey, which is right across the river from Philadelphia. So that is my list, guys. Whew, that took a long time, and I sincerely appreciate you guys sticking around and you know putting your thoughts into this conversation, man. It's been a lot of fun. And you know, I love talking about music, and I love talking with you guys and looking at the chat. And I know all your familiar names. I don't know your faces, but some I do on Instagram and stuff. But I know who you are and your dynamic of how you comment on my videos, man. And like I although I don't personally know you, I know you, and it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. And we got to get into the feels tonight. You know what I mean? Like we got to talk about some cool stuff. And I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate everything you guys do for me. We just passed 7,000 this week. That's amazing. I can't believe it. You know, I set a goal out for the end of this year, a certain number in my head. We're getting there, man. Things are happening, you know, in the music industry. I don't want to spoil it in case it doesn't happen, but there's talks about things. And I'm beyond happy, thankful, and appreciative of everybody. And it's a lot of fun, you know, creating my own stuff, creating content. You know, Luna Muerta is doing really good on Spotify. If you haven't yet, guys, follow Luna Muerta on Spotify. It's that green circle that you see on every video in the bottom left-hand corner. That's my band name. Just please, if you want to go support me, follow that. You know, it's doing really, really well. My Slipknot EP is on there. That's been well received and is doing awesome. And I'm so happy. So thank you, guys. I'm going to turn to the chat one more time, and then I'm going to get out of here. Okay, guys? Seven Dust was actually a honorable mention on my list. Don't go outside in the arena parking lot. Come on now. Strings of Chaos, you got a great channel, bro. Man, I appreciate it. I'm trying, man. I'm pushing as hard as I can. I really appreciate it, dude. Channel is doing amazing. Keep up the good work. Love the music too, by the way. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, man. Luna Muerta is doing good, guys. I'm very, very proud of it. It's inspired me. This EP, the Slipknot tribute EP, has inspired me to write my own stuff more lyrically, vocally. So I'm going to be doing that more. Be on the lookout for that, guys. Pushing like a pregnant chick. Oh, my channel. I was like, what are you talking about? Oh my God. Did you see my face? I was like, what are you talking about? I thought going to the bathroom. I was just like, you got me. That's funny. Don't forget us when you make it big, bro. Edwin, man. Come on now. I don't. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen? But I'm gonna. Don't worry, dude. I'm gonna stay as grounded as anybody. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people tend to get big heads when they get famous. Um, if you see any sort of that behavior, be sure to put me in check, man, and it'll bring me right down. So, you know, I appreciate your support, man. Edwin, one of my huge patrons, man, is always in the chat, always on my Patreon page, always helping me out, DMing me on Instagram. We always talk all the time. I always turn to him for advice and tips and tricks. And if I have a problem, I know I can turn to him. He's, dude, the man. Edwin, thank you, dude. I hope you're doing well over there in California, man. I used to live in New Jersey, so I know. Hell yeah, man. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out, man. I'm gonna go hang out with the old lady. She's not old, you know, my old lady. That didn't sound good. My fiance, and yeah, we're gonna go watch a scary movie as we always do. So I had a lot of fun, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. This coming week, got some stuff as always, man. Always pushing like a pregnant chick. I like that. I like that. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going for it, guys, and I value you guys 100%. Thank you so much for watching tonight. I'll see you guys Monday morning. Be on the lookout for my next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay metal. I'll see y'all next time.